to round 4 of Season 4 Contest of Speed. It's the Tier 1 boys at it again, as always, at Wednesday nights. I'm your commentator, I'm your commentator Lewis, aka Racer, and we've got Perry in the building. Hey Perry, and also we have a debut commentator, Varamir. He has arrived in the commentator's booth. Welcome guys.
Hello.
To the show.
Hello.
So,
I saw Charlie, I think, lost it around, I think it was turn 10 or in Sector 3. So, it's an interesting start on his outlap.
Yeah, obviously, being the Russian Grand Prix, we've got to expect possibly quite a high amount of penalties. It's a track that's so easy to get them because of the fact the runoff is tarmac, so you don't really lose any time. Only unless you get, obviously, the penalties rewarded to you. But I always find this is a good track for overtaking. I feel because of the long straights, the DRS is quite powerful around here. I didn't get to see the Tier 3 race, but tyre wear doesn't seem to be quite the issue. Obviously, the full dry race. But the soft tyre, obviously, still the priority to be in. What do you reckon for this race is going to be the favourites? Obviously, Altakir and Fruitful have been the star act so far, but will we get any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Vermeer. I'll jump in for the first time. Hello, everybody. You know, we talked about Fruitful, who actually invalidated his fast lap, so he is not up towards the top. I know we had Altakir always has to be kind of a favorite. He's in P1 right now. He had to adjust his wheel at home, and in fact, I'm pretty sure he's shifting all with one hand, so that's pretty odd. We'll see if that takes away from his dominance, but yeah, I think Al has a good chance today.
Yeah, Al's always been, well, every track he always seems to have a little bit of time, particularly in quali, but those races as well. Only France really did we, so far you could say, he had the pace where him and Fruitful were very equal. Everywhere else so far, Al has had the upper hand. Just in Australia, he obviously span, and in the last race, he dominated. Varamir, obviously, you've got the good experience of being at recently at the front in Tier 2 as well. With this track, do you think it's sort of a big advantage? I think we all know the answer, but I guess the big advantage is track position here. In quali, starting near the front, because I don't think starting on the hard tyre necessarily works unless you are forced into it.
Yeah, for sure. Starting on the soft and going on the medium is the best strategy, and staying as far up the grid as you can. Being in the middle of the pack, going into turn 1 is very dangerous around here, to say the least. Yeah, and I think where you were saying it's easy for overtakes around here, it is on the straights, as obvious as it is, but because the corners are so narrow, the only place you will see an overtake is on the straight corners or around the long left-hander. So I think that's sort of, drivers don't tend to like this track, so it's quite obvious, I think, of what people are going to do.
Yeah, it's a good point, to be fair. Like, particularly after a second DRS, you have got, like you say, it is a tight entry. You've got to be really alongside someone to get the move done. But yeah, so far, lap time, Sal is fastest. Raikkonen in P2, Matrix P3. I mean, the top two are pretty close, to be fair. The rest of the field, some way back. Mitch is on an outlap at the moment. I'm just on board with him, but Mitch so far, Perry. Mitch has been doing really well, I think, this season.
He really lost the back end through that last turn.
Oh yeah.
He not gonna get the best exit. That's one thing about, I think, running lower downforce setups here is that you really compromise your exits down the straight. I think he's got a good chance. Russia tends to be a track that, you know, we could see some mayhem. I know the weather expected to be dry, so we won't see the kind of mayhem and strategy that really separated the field in Tier 2. So I think that means more close pack racing, more potential for mayhem, more opportunities, risks going to be taken. I know it's only race 4 in the championship, but I am thinking that some of these guys in the mid pack, this is one of those tracks where you can stay in DRS, you can potentially challenge with cars ahead of you, all in the same strategy. So, talking about Thomas, Mitch in there is particular. If they choose to be aggressive, I think this is a track that could see a lot of mayhem ahead of them.
Absolutely. We saw a bit of chaos in the start of yesterday's race near the back, but yeah, obviously, if you do have a moment on this track, because you're on tarmac, it doesn't really slow you down, and the barriers are pretty close. It's a very similar vibe to how Valencia street track used to be, where maybe not quite like Valencia, but Valencia street track was basically a racetrack with walls right next to the track. It was so smooth. It wasn't really. It was on a shipping dock. It wasn't really. The track was completely built for Grand Prix racing, and this track's sort of similar. It's built on an Olympic Park, but has some really high-speed sections, like you said. So far, just looking at the times, there are quite a few people who have yet to do any lap times. Mitch abandoned his previous lap, but Fruitful, Carlsbury, Harrison, Simply Rush, they've all not done a lap time yet. Or that could be it. They've been, invalidated.
Yeah, just looking on Fruitful right now, he came across the line and goes fourth, so apparently got away with that. Just right now, Fruitful, I was surprised how close he was to Big Slater ending the third sector, because they were both on a fast lap, and Big Slater got out of the way, so kind of odd to see Fruitful start a lap that close to somebody. That could have compromised his time, doing a 1:31.4.
Now, that's one thing. Is Matrix on his wheel still? Because so far he's in P4. That would be if he is still on his wheel, that'd be by far much. I know he's still 0.8 off Al's time, but that's much better to be currently on P4 than he has been so far. So if it is on the wheel, that's a good improvement.
As far as I know, he's on the wheel.
Yeah.
I did a practice session with him the other day, and his pace was brilliant, and his race pace especially was much better than his qualifying.
Right.
So I think he could be showing everyone what they want today. Or at least I'm hoping so.
He is the unlocked potential, isn't he, guys? Because he was so good in Tier 2 at the end on the pad. If he was still on his pad now, he would be battling it very close. I think he would be definitely at the very lowest, third fastest guy in this tier. And I think he could very well be very close to Al Takir in the races. But obviously being on the wheel, he decided to stick to it. Fair play to him for sticking on it, because it must have been really hard being so used to dominating and then being in races where you're near the back.
Well, I was hopping on board Carlsbury there. He just about took the wall out, or crashed into the wall going around the last corner. He lost the back end, and he's going to have a rough time on softs here. I am intrigued to see what everybody plays out to be if you are in that small. I know we've only got 15, so only 5 drivers. Charlie confirming one of them of probably starting on the mediums. I'm interested to see how that off strategy goes. If we do have, any incidents, get any virtual safety cars that could spice things up at the midway point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always like a good old safety car to spice things up. We had I think a couple of seasons ago we had a safety car in Tier 3. I remember. That was when F1 2018, the days where you actually would get a safety car.
That was that saved me, because I actually got taken out, had an incident on turn 1 lap on from P 2 or 3, and ended up getting that safety car that gave me an opportunity to race for the podium at the end. So that was, just like that, things can happen like that here at Russia, and it's definitely not a difficult track to master, which I think makes it a little bit even playing field for the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's I definitely find it's for me anyway. It's closer racing, maybe because if you are in that DRS zone as well, those areas are able to keep with the people much easier in that regards. Just seeing lap times. Thomas has just started his flying lap. There's a few people now going out for what looks to be probably their final runs. Matrix is also out, so look out for them.
I think we've got Fruitful on the mediums, so he is doing an alternate strategy.
Let's see, he's out. Well, no, his previous best was on softs. He's just out currently. He's currently out on the medium tyre.
Yeah, but
so
he's only just come out the pits, hasn't he? So,
yeah. Yes.
It was a 31.4. He should be able to
he's
beat that on a medium.
He's gonna give Thomas a toe down the back straight.
Yeah, this is what he did in Monza. He did this last week as well. So Thomas coming through the last sector now. 1:31.8 was his previous best. And he's behind a Haas, which is either Big Slater or well, it has to be Big Slater because Charlie's obviously not in it at the moment. So he's coming round the final turn. What is Thomas going to do? It's 1:30.13. It is an improvement, which puts him into P4.
That's a solid lap. Looking at the chat as well. Pureblade's saying that they had a Tier 3 safety car as well. Sorry, we missed that. I didn't watch any of the Tier 3s, so that's yeah.
Yeah, I was away. That's my excuse. Matrix backed out. I was about to say he was 900s up on his previous best, but he must have made an error somewhere because he's completely aborted his lap. So I don't think he's going to be able to improve on that P6. So he may drop down further with quite a few people now on their outlaps. Oh, Fruitful.
Improved by 1/10.
He retired from the pits, yeah.
Wow. Oh, Mitch is coming out in a load of traffic here. He might get away with it though. Yeah, Altakir gets out of the way in the first sector. Let's see, and that's good. The racing point got out of the way as well. So Mitch coming up to the end of the first sector is an improvement.
We've got Raikkonen as well. He's 2 temps up.
Oh, Mitch
So these guys will really have to push to get back around. And they're all bunched up.
The only thing is, it could be the glitch. Oh, Mitch runs a bit wide. Does that?
Oh yeah.
Really aggressive into X 3. Raikkonen almost loses it, going into the penultimate corner.
Oh yeah. Yeah, here he comes. Wow!
Oh, he must have
He validated it. Oh, it would have been good
3
enough.
temps up. He would have had a 30.5.
Mitch is a tenth, or just under 2 tenths on top of his previous best in Sector 2.
We get a Mercedes 1-2 question mark.
Oh, we got quite a few people retiring here. I'm hoping. Wow. It's not easy. Oh, wow.
Altakir improved. That's a great
3 more
time.
times.
Here comes Mitch, round the final turn, and it's a 1:31.4, which gets him up to P8.
I see that Jamie just started a lap, and I don't even know if it's worth it at this point to even... Unless you can do something like a 1:31 flat and get up to P4, I don't see how it's worth it. Just go with the mediums at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
There's quite a logjam from P4 to P8, all within about a tenth.
Oh, they're falling out here now. Jay Ghost is retired. Simply Rush is coming round the... yeah, it's Simply Rush. Coming around the final corner. He moves up into P6. 1:31.3. So who else have we got? It's got Harrison out, Chavi out. The next one is going to be Jamie. Jamie's the next one, and he's 700s up on his previous best, which would currently get him into P10. But like you said, Perry, is it worth it?
Depends what this third sector looks like. It's very clean, but it doesn't feel that fast riding on board.
It looks like if it's going to be an improvement, it's going to be a P10, P9 job.
Javi's a P5, he's currently 1.5 temps
Oh,
up. So
no, fair play.
Could jump Thomas.
Yeah. Here we go. He's coming, he's following
Gotta be
Harrison.
aggressive.
So Harrison doesn't improve, and Javi does. Look at that.
1/10 improvement. Lost a little bit in sector 3 there, so he'll be kicking himself. I think he went a little bit wide going into the final corner, but where you
Mitch
want to...
ends up P10 just on the edge. That's unfortunate for Mitch. And Harrison did improve his time, but wasn't enough to get down to Al's time.
Very close though. Should be. Harrison just needs his last 2 showings in the racing. He's just obviously had errors, spins, but he definitely has the pace to trouble Al. But so it's a Mercedes 1-2. So that definitely isn't like real life, is it, boys? Hashtag Lewis 44.
I think Javi there, if he took what would be more of a qualifying line into the last corner, like taking the apex really sharp, I think he could have jumped, well, he's in P4 regardless, but he could have saved another 10th, but he took the racing line, and it makes all the difference sometimes.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know, this is fixing to be quite a start. I mean, I feel like Raikkonen and Javi are 2 very aggressive drivers, depending on what the Mercedes do off the line. It could be 3 abreast going into technically what's turn 2.
And also that long, because it's one of the longest, or it is the longest run to a first corner, isn't it? So the tow you can get from behind could be interesting. So Altakir is on pole position, Harrison in P2, his Mercedes teammate, Raikkonen P3, Xavi P4, Thomas 5th, Jamie 6th, Simply Rush 7th, 8th Matrix, 9th Fruitful. Not a good start for him, and he will be starting on the soft as well. Mitch P10, then Big Slater 11th, Jay Ghost 12th, Bullet Boy 13th, Carlsbury 14th, and Charlie in 15th.
Cookie says, no, Lewis, turn 1 is the kink. Don't forget the kink.
Yes, I know. I knew someone would bring. I meant as in a proper, a breaking point. I get it. It's turn 2, but all right. If you're gonna be like that,
I think with the turn 2 as well, we can't forget that you've got to take the run off and hit the markers now, haven't you? Rather than just getting back on track as quick as you can.
yes, that's correct. Replicating like it is in real life, effectively.
Alright, who's your money on pressing X? I'm going with Jamie today.
I'm gonna go with J Ghosts.
I'm going to go with Simply.
Oh, the tension.
This will be the one time when nobody hits it.
Oh, Bullet
Ooh,
Boy!
Bullet Boy, there we go.
None of us win today. Well, with that, who have we got money on for the victory then?
I want to see the over-unders 2 more times. Eat the cookie corrects you from Chad.
I reckon Al's gonna win.
Yeah, I think Al's the safe bet, isn't he? But I'm going to put Raikkonen up there as well. I think because the tow is so strong around here, and you just need to hang about with a car ahead, even if they've got about, I don't know, half a 10th advantage, half a second advantage, you can just stay with them. So, yeah, I'm going to put Raikkonen. What about you, Perry?
I don't know. I think Al, he's got that wrist issue and has a steering wheel issue, so I don't think it's a sure thing for the win, but I think he'll be consistent enough to stay on for the podium. I think Harrison has a real good shot. And also the way Russia turns out, midfielders I think have a little bit of a better chance, so I'll say Thomas for the last podium spot.
Now, tyre strategy, we got 3 people, just the 3 on the medium tyre, and that's Bullet Boy, Charlie, and Alp. Alp, who missed qualifying, The rest are on softs. However, the big thing is the guys in P11 and P12 and P14 in Carlsbury, those guys are starting on fresh softs. So they should be able to extend the stint a little bit further and in theory have a better performance anyway to the guys around them.
I think one of the keys for Javi especially and everybody else fourth on back is to get a good enough start and stay within striking distance of the car in front of you. Maybe even be a little bit less aggressive out of the start and just you know, stay in that DRS train for the first round of pit stops, get an undercut possibly.
We've got a few fans in here for Matrix, and we've got a Mitch for the win as well.
Team Alfa Romeo representing.
One thing Mitch is brilliant at, I think it goes to say for every league race he does, is keeping his penalties to a minimum. And that can make a huge difference in this race.
I think the broadcast view of the start is one of the worst if we do stay behind the drivers.
We'll be able to...
No? Yep.
Right.
Alright, here we go. Russian Grand Prix from Sochi. Al Takir up in P1. 5 red lights. And here we go. It is a good start for the Mercedes and Al Takir on the start. Raikkonen peeking around the outside for P2. Also Javi. And a collision between Raikkonen and Harrison. And Harrison's DNF'd immediately Raikkonen. Didn't give him enough space. Ran up the track. Or rather, Harrison, I think, ran up the track. And that's what caused that collision. Keep on going. Most of the fields made it through. And Javi and Harris gets a gifted P2 and simply up to P3. So brilliant start for the Renaults.
I think I just saw Raikkonen trying to deliberately crash there. I might be wrong, but he's completely lost his front wing now. So Raikkonen is at the back, and Carlsbury as well is in the garage. But yeah, a lot of action going on there in the background, and drama with Harrison already out, and he didn't even make it to the turn 2 we were talking about. So disaster.
Oh, we've got a Force India in the wall.
That's Bullet Boy.
Oh,
On those cold mediums.
Yeah, you just know it's the rear end coming out of you, isn't it? Out on the exit of that corner. All been close. That reminds me of when Blank did it a couple of seasons ago. Exactly the same.
What did Carlsbury line up on the grid, or what happened there?
I don't know. He's in the garage. So
that's bizarre. Meanwhile, Al's got a pretty safe lead at 1.2 seconds.
yeah, obviously Raikkonen losing out is nearest contenders. Harrison and Raikkonen both are completely out of contention, and Xavi is the biggest winner. He's up to P2. So Xavi really doing well. Thomas staying around the P4. Matrix and Mitch both in P9 and 10.
Slater's
I think
jumped up 6
Slater as well,
places
6 spots from on those fresh offs now can attack the leaders. That's a tremendous start for Slater, yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's a good battle in the background. Jamie and Fruitful. Fruitful's down the inside here. And brilliant move from Fruitful, but Jamie's going to be able to get on the switch back here. Oh, and he's got the inside. Fruitful's trying to squeeze him out. But Red Bull's going to go through now. Has he gone too wide? He has. And that's going to allow... And the Racing Point as well will get through. And does so. Good little squabble there from those guys.
Got Alcatel, he's almost 2 seconds ahead already after lap 2. Not even after lap 2 yet. So I think the Renault boys are going to have to work together here, giving each other a bit of a tow.
Yeah, pretty much from P2 on back, it's just going to be one giant train.
Yeah,
it is put on the hards.
Well, that's the only thing I saw. He could try and do a 2-stop. Probably 2-stop would be better. Oh, Jamie's run wide. Jamie's getting a bit out of shape here. That's going to cost him momentum on the exit to Matrix. But yeah, the hard tyre, I mean, it's got no pace, but I suppose he should be able to get to the end on that. DRS will be enabled next, well, it has been enabled now, but they will get it next time by in the next DRS
No,
zone.
they've got it. I think they've got it. This is the
yeah,
one
they
place
have,
where you
yeah.
get it immediately. Yeah, so that was fruitful to close up on the back of Slater.
Yeah. He's got so much pace around this turn 3. He's doing another move down the inside. Oh, Big Slater's trying to shut the door. He runs wide and holds on to P5 for now. Will Fruitful make an aggressive move? No. It's smart money, to be fair. That corner is tricky to make a move on from that deep. But
Some of these guys are running wide that have to be picking up warnings already.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Oh, no, the Haas running a bit wide there off Big Slater. He's all over the place. Like you said, I'm surprised they haven't had any penalty. Well, they must have warnings, but no penalties shown as yet. As the Ferraris through down the inside, is he? And the Force, remember the racing points there as well. Good move. Oh, wing damage though for the Force idiot. The racing point. Jay goes. I saw some wing damage, and there is.
Yeah, he's lost his left end plate there.
And the Haas had a moment as well, and they're both. Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, that was awkward.
Yeah,
that was close.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Big Slater was going to let him by, and then yeah.
I think what happened with Slater there is because he had the bit of a half spin in sector 2, and he probably had a bit of overheating issues. When he went into sector 3 then, he had nothing to fight with.
Oh, Jamie 1S down the inside of Big Slater. So Big Slater's gone well off the pace now. It's like and in fact he's gone really wide.
Yeah, Fruitful team orders down the front straight, got by Thomas.
Charlie gets a penalty.
Yeah, it's a tough call for Jay Ghost having the pit so early. I know that losing the wing is a big deal, but I mean, you still had some track position that you could have maybe held on to this first stint. Now you're just going to have a really difficult time making it up now in the hards.
Well, we've got a lone Mercedes, 2 Renaults, and 2 Ferraris. So I think Fruitful and Thomas probably going to work together here, aren't they, to catch up a little bit, save some ERS.
Oh,
I'm
out.
not sure where. Just yeah, I don't know where that was. He was right around Charlie, and trying to see. I'm gonna hop on board Jay Ghost and watch him come around, see if we can see Alp's dead car.
Coming into the yellow zone. Ah, it must have been before that. That's so strange. It was around the braking zone.
I think, yeah. That might be the same situation that Harrison had, where one driver didn't give it enough space and bounced one into the wall.
Possibly.
That's the only thing I could think of there.
Oh, I'm getting cold out here. Calling them Force Indias rather than racing points. Whoops.
I did that as well. My bad. It's gonna still take time. It's cause the pink and obviously they look the same as Force India. Like normally when a team changes, they look different, don't they? But
yeah,
they still look the same. But yeah, they are. It's right. They are racing points. Real good battle for P2 at the moment. 2, second, third, fourth, and fifth. You got 2 Renaults and then 2 Ferraris, and Fruitful's showing some really good pace. Simply has got past Javi as well, so they've swapped the Renaults as well as the Ferraris.
I think you're going to try to see the fastest Ferrari Fruitful get by the second fastest Renault Javi in just a moment.
Yeah, definitely. Fruitful's got some really good pace. Obviously, the poor qualifying is being proven just by how quick he's been so far on this run, just 5 laps in. Definitely that Renault, if Javi's not, I think Javi's still in DRS, so he will make it difficult for the Ferrari to get through, but I don't know, you can fancy here, Fruitful. He's got some good straight line speed. That DRS could save Javi. Oh, Jay Ghost is retired now. So, Don't know where that is. Oh, that's a similar sort of place. That's around a bit further down. Ah, Jay Ghost has retired on track, it looks like. That's so weird. So already 5 retirements. Sorry, not 5 retirements. 4. You know, it is, yeah, because Carlsbury, he's not racing.
Just didn't get the start or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
So it is 5 retirements so far.
So there's one big train forming behind Simply, and there's another train forming behind Jamie.
Yeah, got good action. Almost identical sort of 4-car train with Charlie lurking in the background. But this DRS train, again, Matrix is looking really close to the back of Big Slater. The DRS, though, should save Slater here.
Have you run wide here as well?
Fruitful trying the outside.
What's
Yeah.
going on the inside now?
Oh, this is a difficult place for...
Oh, he's going to squeeze him
Yeah,
out.
Javi's got it.
That's a
Oh,
lovely
that's a
move.
difficult place to defend. It's almost impossible for Javi.
Good move by Fruitful, but however, Fruitful is he outside of the... I think he's outside the DRS now because of that squabble, so the Renault should be able to breeze back by. Here we go. The DRS is with the Renault. And the Ferrari defends, but side by side, the Ferrari's still got the speed. Oh, bit of ghosting goes on there. I don't think wing damage.
Fruitful broke later and was able to hold him off pretty well.
Thomas.
Yeah. Oh,
Lovely
bit of contact, but they manage to get away with it. But the Renault's going to fight back down the inside. No, so Thomas holds that in. So the Ferraris are making progress.
In the background, too, Matrix just by Big Slater.
Yeah.
And they've got Mitch all over the back of him. And all this time, the Ferraris and Renaults squabble. Al is just eating up second by second per lap. 7 seconds ahead now. Just checking out.
Yeah, he's got really good pace. Oh, Xavi and Thomas. Xavi and Thomas battling it out again. Terrible camera angle, but Xavi I think's done it. Oh no, he's run wide.
Oh, Javi's run really wide.
Just avoids getting any wing damage from hitting the wall. But a good little scrap there from those guys. And now Fruitful's...
Thomas is running really low on his DRS now, so Javi could quite easily get past him if he gets a good exit here.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think Thomas though has... No, he hasn't. Thomas is outside the DRS zone. So yeah, he could very well be under threat once again. Although I think he might just have a bit of a big enough gap.
Javi needed a better exit out of that corner, to be honest.
Look at the background. Those 4, Jamie, Matrix, Big Slater. They're all they're all snaking down the straight, trying to get that slipstream on Jamie. Jamie's running no ERS. I think that's why. Jamie's got no energy left. So he was a bit of a sitting duck there. And they're not too far away. Jamie's only 3 seconds behind Javi. Or Javi. So it's these guys aren't too far away. And they're starting to understand now. You can see those softs are starting to give up.
Yeah,
not
I'd
giving
say
them the
lap
grip.
8 for the undercut is the earliest you can go in for. But you can take the... Well, yesterday I took mine to lap 16, 17, but the track conditions were a lot cooler. So, and it is the overheating more than the tyre wear around here. So I think lap 8, you really start to feel the overheating.
Mitch and Big Slater battling it out. And Slater holds on for now in 8th.
I think you can tell Mitch has to be running more downforce on that view. A feeling he just didn't have enough at the end of the straight still.
Yeah, but you also got to think with a DRS train that you got, that guy ahead of him had the advantage of 2 slipstreams. So it always makes it trickier. Hard being the last guy trying to overtake
Fruitful
is
getting on Simply
harder.
now, going into turn 2.
Oh,
He
down the
defends
inside.
it, but he goes on the... Wow, that's a great move if he makes it stick. Pushes him out wide a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, It's not over yet, though. Fruitful likes to dig it down the inside here. Oh, he ran wide.
No, he's in the marbles. Yeah, he had the bet left.
Oh, look at the Renault. The Renault heavy on the inside of Thomas, but as the back out wasn't enough alongside. So yeah, great battles.
Yeah, the Renault and the Ferrari's giving us a really good show.
One thing is, while these guys battle, Jamie's been able to, slowly start to kind of cut down that gap. Now that things have settled down behind Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie's been able to pull away a little bit now.
Bit of an update on Alcatel. He's got almost fully RS and he's just coasting. 10-second lead.
Of course.
And he said he was injured.
I think he was lying. I think, yeah.
Fractured your wrist? I don't think so.
Whatever it is, it's made him faster. But all of this is just such a good track for him. He can be injured and still lead by 9.8 seconds. But yeah, Simply Rush, Fruitful, they've made 5 and 6 places gained respectively, as Matrix Pitts and Thomas Pitts as well. So
I think,
our first stoppers.
Fruitful's a lot closer to Simply this time. He should make this one stick. Simply's defending.
Oh,
Bit of a lag spike. This time, can Simply do it on the outside? I don't think he's got the tyre grip anymore.
And ERS either.
Oh, Mitch and Big Slater. Just jumping back to him. Mitch, I don't know if he went in too hot or what, but he was sliding all over the place on the exit of turn 3.
Yeah, Mitch in a Haas, well, currently in a Haas sandwich.
Fruitful's already pulled about almost a full second to Simply.
Yeah, Fruitful's had some good pay. It'll be interesting to see whether the gap stays the same now with Al and Fruitful, because I think Fruitful's generally got some really good pace, but unfortunately he's going to be too far away to, unless Al Takir has any penalties, which, not being under pressure, he shouldn't. I can't see him challenging Al in this race.
So Al stays out. Well, Fruitful dive in. No.
And Simply is going.
Oh, Fruitful does super late. He was past the ball out when he did that.
Mitch is going in as well, because Big Slater is really struggling for pace, and Charlie was almost on the back of him as Charlie gets another penalty. So Charlie, I think so far has got 3 penalties.
Okay,
so Fruitful's coming out.
Going across the start-finish line now, Thomas.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work really well for the Ferrari guys, because Thomas has got clearly out ahead of Simply Rush. So that's worked perfectly for those guys, and I think they'll undercut Javi as well. And I mean, Javi has to be under threat from being undercut from his teammate as well. As Javi gets 3 seconds as well. That's not, so he is pushing. He knows the lap to go.
Yeah, Simply really has to get on the back of Thomas now. If he doesn't, I think it's going to be. He's going to leave himself a real big job for the rest of this race.
So here we go, the last sector. Al's in the pits as well, just to cover off those Ferrari guys. Doesn't want to put any more pressure on himself than he needs to. And expect the Renault to be coming in as well, which he is, heading towards the pit entry. And into the pits for a crucial stop.
Oh boy, Fruitful's all out of shape entering tier 3 or section 3.
Oh,
lost the back end a little bit, and now Thomas is right on the back of him.
Charlie had front wing damage in the Haas, but here's so Javi is at the pit exit. So yeah, definitely Javi's surely going to fall behind his teammate even comfortably.
Huge undercut there.
I mean, Jamie
What about
1S.
Jamie?
Jamie's not going to be too
Jamie's
far
going to be
behind,
about a second back or so, yeah.
but he's under
Ooh,
pressure
got
from
Mitch coming
Matrix.
up.
Oh, Matrix, Jamie,
Matrix
come in
there.
contact, but they get away with not hitting the walls, and Matrix is up into P6 now. So good move by Matrix.
Matrix made up a huge amount of time pitting that extra lap early from that DRS trainee is now in the lead of it.
Yeah, that really spread out with all their different times when they pitted. Mitch, yeah, the Haas guys really lost out, staying out longer. I think Big Slater and Charlie must have had a moment because they're both way down the order. And Charlie,
Well, I think they double stacked.
yes, but Charlie had wing damage as well, just to compound things.
Yeah, so Charlie's pit stop had to have been dreadful.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas seems to be happier on the mediums. Fruitful's not been able to pull away. In fact, Thomas is right up on the gearbox of his teammate.
Again, Thomas is really using a lot of his ERS to stay with Fruitful, and Fruitful's just picked up a 3-second penalty actually, so that could come into the race later on.
I just realised something. Matrix is on the soft tyre. He didn't start.
He's on the medium.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. It came up red and then it went back to yellow. But yeah, looking good. 1.2. He's managed to get the gap down to Javi. So yeah, interesting stuff.
So I think the only thing going on track now really is watching Jamie on Matrix.
Yeah. And Javi is sort of just clear of it. But if he loses a couple of tenths and Matrix gets that DRS, that we got a three-way battle then.
I'm curious to see how many penalties Charlie has right now.
Oh, he's got loads because he had a speeding penalty as well when he went in the pits. So that's his fourth 3 seconds, and he's got a 5-second as well. And Jamie 1S is having a move back on Matrix down the inside, or oh no, they could be in the wall. He went so deep there, trying to hold out with the Red Bull, and that's going to cost him.
Did he pick up any wing damage, or did he?
Yeah,
before the wall?
no, he's got wing damage. Yeah,
he does. Left front end plate, and he's gonna pit.
That's a shame for Matrix, but yeah, he just went trying to keep that place. He just braked so way too late, and that unfortunately, what has been his most promising race so far this season. Good improvements on that wheel. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be still getting a top 10, looks like, because he's still quite a way ahead of Charlie. But he's going on the hard tyre.
With that corner there, if you hit the curb, it really does affect your braking. So I think that's what might have happened.
Yeah.
He braked late, but he also was so far on the left defending that he hit the curb and he just couldn't slow it down.
And that pretty much ruins our only battle on track right now.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I was about to say.
Al set the fastest lap during all of that, and looks like Thomas keeping pretty safe, distant from Simply.
Yeah, only just. I mean, it'd be still interesting to see how, when the tyres wear, to see how people's pace, how their pace goes. Simply is keeping those Ferrari guys honest. He's not too far away, but not quite in that DRS zone. Javi is quite a way down for that pit stop. Running late really did cost him in the end. But he is pulling away from Jamie, who's 2 seconds back. And then Mitch is in a battle for it on his own. And Matrix has just got past Charlie. I think Charlie's
disconnected.
Yeah, he's disconnected, yeah.
So it means that pretty much, if you've made it this far in the race, you will get some sort of points.
You still got to finish. 75% rule apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we're nearly at that point. So well, yeah, got a few more laps to go before we get to that point. But yeah, essentially we only have 10 runners left. Thomas is now outside of. Well, he's creeping. I guess he'll want to stay in that DRS zone. Although he is pulling away from Simply Rush, it just helps him be able to save the RS a bit better. I don't think he's going to trouble Fruitful. But the pace has been quite close. Al and Fruitful have. Al just has a little bit of an edge today. The last few laps, he's just been nicking 2/10, 3/10 a lap really on Fruitful. So Al did have the speed. However, if Fruitful was with him and had DRS, Al would struggle to pull away really. So it's a shame he had a poor quali, but Al was just able to do the damage here so early on. And also
looking through the penalties right now, both Ferraris have just 3 seconds, while the Renaults have 6 seconds.
Right. How does Jamie and Mitch? How are they doing? I think they got no penalties, have they?
I don't think Jamie or Mitch has any. So
yeah, so that would be interesting. That would get those guys ahead of the Renaults at this rate. So because Jamie's only 2 seconds behind Javi and 5 seconds behind Simply. So obviously we've still got a long way to go. The Renaults could pull away enough, but at the same time they could get another set of penalties. Big Slater gets 3 seconds.
Just been looking at the lap times, and Alcatir and Fruitful are running similar lap times, so it would have been interesting if Fruitful could have been on the back of Alcatir. We'd have had a great race building up to the end, but it's just a shame. I don't think Fruitful got the qualifying that he wanted, did he?
No, that's it. It was really. I think he may have obviously had issues with maybe quality, getting your laps invalidated, but yeah, he was way off. And that's just. I mean, it's damage limitation. He's still currently on course for a P2 place and not allowing Al to pull away that much further. But yeah, it's not
when
his
I
ideal.
saw Fruitful, when I was watching him on the quality, he went out on the mediums. So whether he did that by mistake, because it seemed like an unusual thing for him to do.
Maybe something we can ask if he does finish in the top 3 on the podium. We could ask him what his thinking was behind that, because it did cost him a shot at improving his lap times.
yeah, a lot of people talking in chat about Al having a broken wrist and still having a 10 or 11 second gap. Has to be one of the most impressive things they've ever seen. You can think of as like the Kurt Schilling bloody sock against the Yankees and the ALCS quite a few years ago. It's a baseball reference for all the British people that don't know what I'm talking about.
What's baseball?
Stick rock.
Yeah, cricket. Nah, no, I know Yankee. You had me at Yankees. I know that. I know the Yankees, but yeah, no, he's been really impressive by Al. Not the most physical circuit, but when you think about the long left-hander, I don't know which wrist he's broken, but like there's certain corners here where you have to be on the steering lock for quite a while, and then the last sector you've got areas where you have to very quickly go from left to right. So fair play to him. He does get the advantage of 2 reasonably long straights, well, semi-straights. They do have a few curves in them. But yeah, it's been a really dominant race so far. 11.7 is the gap.
What could be interesting now is Thomas has fallen out of the 1 second mark from Fruitful, and it might give Simply the chance to catch up.
I don't know. Simply has really fallen back. He was 2 seconds behind Thomas, and now he's 4.
But Thomas was getting the DRS, and he was also getting a toe, but he's going to be out of that now, so you could see the times changing up a little bit.
I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. Simply's really starting to fall off.
Yeah, he's 4 seconds behind now, and Javi is, yeah, he's closing in. So he's obviously not been able to look after those tyres as well as the guys around him. Oh, Mitch gets a penalty. It's going to cost him gaining any more places. But look at Raikkonen. Raikkonen's only 1.3 behind on the hard tyres as well, and is gaining. Such just shows you how good Raikkonen's pace was today. Such a shame for it to unravel before the, well, just after the turn one.
He's already really catching up on Mitch, and I thought out of the medium runners right now, Mitch was doing probably the most steady lap times consistently. He's, I think, trying to slowly catch Jamie, but I think Raikkonen will probably get him before too long.
I've just seen Carlsberry getting out of his car, setting up a deck chair and having a coffee.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think what happened to Carlsberry was what happened when to Fernando Alonso a couple years ago in Russia, where his car broke down heading to the grid. That's what happened to Carlsberry today.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. It's just typical McLaren. The old school McLaren Honda has come back to bite Carlsberry. Unfortunately.
Yeah, the Ferraris are doing a good job now. I think Thomas has either caught up or Fruit will slow down a little bit to get back in the DRS and just to lock down P2 and P3.
Yeah, the battle we have got is Mitch and Raikkonen.
I would say if we needed a battle, we'll send a text to Thomas telling him to battle Fruitful a little bit.
Yeah, send the orders.
Al did say in the chat during the week that you'll obviously do this race for damage limitation, but yeah, extending his lead is probably not what he expected.
Yeah, Raikkonen getting a really good run into the DRS now. He surely is going to be able to get past Mitch here, and there's got loads of ERS. Raikkonen up into P7. Raikkonen's in fact half a second up on his previous best at the moment. He's flying on those 17 lap hards now, but those hards around here just don't really drop off. They just keep doing the same pace the whole race. Oh, Mitch gets a bit out of shape. Yeah, good save though. I think he might have struggled to save that if he had a pad, but the wheel saving him there, allowing to quickly correct that skid. As Raikkonen does a 135.2. So that's 0.6 up on his previous best. So it just shows you how good those hards are still working for him. And he can get past. He's on his way to Jamie now. He's only 2.3 behind. Unreal. It's such a shame. It shows you how much pace Raikkonen had today.
Just got a view of Raikkonen and Harrison's incident. Just I don't really know if I would, that's really close for being, because they just touched wheels and it just kind of spun. Raikkonen still had plenty of space to his left, so I don't know why he was that close to Harrison. And Harrison moved up a little bit, but I mean, still left plenty of space to his outside. So I don't know, maybe it was just Raikkonen being a little bit too aggressive there at the start, looking back at that.
Al just a 134.2. So obviously decided to use the ZRS there, I think.
So I was thinking initially if Raikkonen was going to stay in the back, I mean, he could have just put on sauce for the fastest lap. But now, I mean, I guess you got to try to make the hard tires last the entire race. 26 laps. He just picked up a 3-second. Now I think Matrix has to be the one to put on the softs at the end and get the fastest lap, or at least try to.
Yeah, Raikkonen could pick up a few places here from penalties. I don't think Jamie has got any. We might have one, and Raikkonen has one penalty as well. We're simply in Javi have a few, I think. Have a look at Simply's quickly. Yeah, so Simply he's one warning away from having 3 penalties, so Raikkonen needs to get within 6 seconds. It's going to be tough with 6 laps to go, but don't count him out.
Absolutely. Raikkonen is in DRS now with Jamie. So Raikkonen's on course for a P6 position. He's not going to get, well, bearing penalties, I don't think he's going to be able to improve any more than this potential P6, but really good showing. Goes a bit wide on the exit, but still within 6 tenths. He may have a chance here. He saved all his ERS while Jamie hasn't got much left. So here we go. It's a little bit far back there, I think, for this.
There's simply 3 more seconds.
Yeah, and yeah, because Thomas got
6.
yeah, 6. Yeah.
Raikkonen could get P4.
Yeah, if he has no penalties,
really
yeah.
close. I think he really needs to get past Jamie to make that
I think
happen.
he's got one penalty, at least.
Yeah, he's got 3 seconds, so I think he needs to get past Jamie and make some.
Oh,
inroads
Javi.
into Javi.
Javi's now got 3
Javi with
seconds.
9 seconds, yeah.
Oh,
Raikkonen's
That's
pushing
close.
Jamie through the corners.
yeah, very much a karting move there. Just giving your competitor
Love
a
the
little
tap.
tap.
He's had
Yeah.
a great exit there. He should have in it.
I
Jamie's
don't
on
know.
almost 0 ERS as well, so he's going to break on that
Oh,
curve.
ran
He should go
outside.
deep.
What a move.
Great move.
Oh, that. He gave just enough space for Jamie to make it through the corner. That's a veteran move.
Yeah, Raikkonen's now trying to get away, so that he doesn't get a bit back, and I think he already has the gap, to be honest. He's already pulled 7 tenths just on
Mitch
this last
is
sector.
hitting.
Yeah,
I'm not
Jamie's
sure.
got no ERS to battle back for Raikkonen. Raikkonen needs to really push hard now for these last few laps.
I'm
Could get
surprised.
P4.
I'm surprised Mitch has done this, because with penalties, I think he could have gained potentially 1 or 2 spots. But with this now, he's lost a spot, but will only gain a point back if he does get the fastest lap.
It's kind of odd.
I'm
Pretty
not
much
sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ferry. I'm not sure what it's been like with you, but recently I've been having a few sort of glitches in game when you're asking what the driver has in front, whether they have penalties, and it's not actually telling you that they have them. But then you look at the end of the race and they have 6, 9, 12, whatever it is. So perhaps Mitch didn't know that the guys in front have penalties.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think the general takeaway is, I think Fruitful could have battled right with Al, like we saw a couple races ago, if he would have put together a better qualifying. And I think that the improvement definitely to the Renaults and to Thomas, as they definitely had some quality pace over the rest of the field. And Raikkonen needs to avoid the early mistakes.
Yeah, a bit too eager going into the kink and turn 2.
Yes, that is it with the battle. The field is extremely spread out now. The 2 Ferrari guys are doing a demonstration run at the moment. keeping in formation. But Al's just pulled
Yeah,
away.
it's turned into a true Russia race where nothing really happens the second last few hit laps.
I'm gonna have a on board with Al and see how see what lines he's taking, see how smooth he's driving, because
Yeah,
he's great to watch.
I'm going to join you on that. See
He's
him
just
down the
started his lap now.
Yeah, it's a unique track, Russia, with this obviously long. This area is really long time on the throttle, and it's such a weird corner. This little chicane. Well, it's not a chicane really.
With that corner with turn 2, you go hard on the brakes, but then you just let the car do the work, and you just sling it into the corner and go over the curbs. Rather than if you try and slow the car down, braking into the corner, you lose all your time. And just watching Al there, he lifted off the throttle and just glided over the curbs.
It's definitely a track that if you're in the groove and you watch like Al here, it looks so smooth and rewarding. Like it's such a nice feeling. It's a nice flow to the track. Ooh, gets a little moment. That would have been a great time to be on board, wouldn't it? And Mitch just going to have fastest lap.
Yeah, Mitch fastest lap. I also saw Raikkonen with a 3-second penalty, so that could ruin his on-track position. But like some of the guys have said in the stream comments, he might be having a penalty coming in the instant move. Harrison.
I don't know if you guys know, this track, they won't be going, allegedly. I think they only going to do one more race or 2 more races here because they want to develop this area further. So they're looking, the Russians, into hosting a track, well, a new track basically, elsewhere in Russia, which will replace this circuit. I think it's 2021 might be the final race here. That's what I read a couple of months ago.
I think the first Grand Prix here was in 1910. I think that was in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Going back.
Yeah.
109 years.
Yeah, back before the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Time of the Tsars, was it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Shout out to the those days, eh? The old 1910s.
Shout out to pre-democracy and communism.
Shout out to the Cold War. But yeah, this is Fruitful and Thomas, 2nd and 3rd, currently in those Ferraris. Fair play, you know, they've maximised as a team. They've definitely maximised their results today. Altakir is been in a leader zone as always, but the quali we saw it in Monza, and they're doing it a bit today in quali. Thomas let Fruitful through, but to be fair to them, I think Thomas had the pace today on the mediums. It's just they're trying to maximise the damage of Al and keep Fruitful as close as possible in the standings.
Yeah, it's good for the Constructors' Championship as well, isn't it? With a 2 and a 3, you're still going to be making inroads on the Mercedes, so it's a good result for the Ferraris.
Matrix takes the fastest lap from Mitch. So Mitch pitted just for the fastest lap and lost the position to do so, and it didn't even work out because Matrix has taken it from him. Matrix was going to finish 10th anyways.
Yeah, that is unusual.
Yeah, Mitch is 7.5 behind Big Slater. He's got that fastest lap in the bag as we are on the final lap of this Grand Prix now. Al is already halfway through.
Mitch is going to save up now. He's going to have to go for the fastest lap to make this work. Yeah, driver of the day then. Who would you give it to, Lewis?
I mean, if you're doing it just on performance, Al, with the fact he's got a broken wrist and is still dominating by 18 seconds, I'd say.
Yeah.
Raikkonen has done a really good recovery, though. Raikkonen's definitely in there with a shout as well. but I think Al just because of the circumstances.
Yeah, I would say I would go with Al as well. Definitely given the circumstances and how he had everything under control the entire
Going to
time.
the last
So
corner now.
Here he goes. A nice drift into the wall celebration. Al takes the victory.
That is a
Fruitful.
dominating win, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh no, without a shadow of doubt, 18 seconds clear. Fruitful as he comes to the final turn with his teammate in close proximity. Fruitful P2 for now. Thomas P3. Now let's see if penalties affect the results here. Simply Rush coming in. He is in P4 for now. Javi, he's P5 as well. Raikkonen, where does he go? He goes up to P5. And a shame, if he hadn't have had that penalty, Raikkonen would have got up to P4 as well. Jamie moves up past
Jamie
both
gets
of them.
P5.
Wow.
Jamie, I don't think had any penalties.
Yeah, it must have not. It's a good result for Jamie. He managed to finish 2/10 clear of Raikkonen in the end. As Big Slater comes home in 8th place. Mitch only 5 seconds behind. If he has less penalties, he might be able to nick this. And he does.
He does.
Get on, Mitch. P8 for him in the end.
Well, there we are. There's a good. The first stint for it was quite entertaining, wasn't it? But as soon as they went onto the mediums, it really split up the race, and it was a bit of a formality for Al, especially, and the Ferrari boys controlled it nicely as well.
Yeah, once again, another Mercedes victory. That's 3 wins now for Al, and just the one for Fruitful from the opening race of this season in Melbourne. So here's the results. Al Takir with P1, Fruitful P2, Thomas in 3rd, Simply 4th, Jamie with no penalties, the only guy to have no penalties, in 5th, Raikkonen in 6th, Javi 7th, Mitch 8th, Big Slater 9th, Matrix 10th, and then you have the list of DNFs. Charlie with 26 seconds worth of penalties, J Ghosts, Alp, Bullet Boy, and then Harrison finish out that classification. If you guys are able to send me suggestions to invite the top 3, and I'll accept them then. So we're looking for Al.
No, I think it is.
Al, Fruitful, and Thomas. Thanks, Perry.